Hello, everybody. This is Sophia Mona Lisa from the Golden Ray Center and the Rose Wheel Mystery School. And I'm super excited today to bring you this new video journal. Uh, this is an exciting stage of an unfolding that started last January. So before I dive into the meat of it, let me just take you back a little bit and remind you that last January, the Cosmic Sophia asked me to initiate and facilitate what she calls the Galactic New Earth Journey. And this journey is all about igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia. Initially, it was about downloading light codes into 8 different Venus temples on the planet to help build a light grid to bridge humanity from 3D reality into 5D plus. We've done amazing work over the past nearly 2 years. And now we're in a new phase. We're in a phase where we are working with the Leo divine royalty goddess. And so if that doesn't mean anything to you, let me just step back again another moment and tell you that this entire galactic new earth journey is aligning with Venus's dance with the sun. And her dance with the sun is called a synodic cycle. Her dance lasts about 19 months with 4 different phases. And every 8 years, what she does is she moves from one point to another on the pentagram, creating the rose, the ancient sacred image for the divine feminine in the sky. And so why that's important is because we've recently stepped onto what we call the Leo divine royalty goddess journey that started actually last month. And we have recently had our 15th strand of DNA activation. This has happened at the third eye as a part of Venus's descent journey. This third eye is known as the portal of perception. Now, this is highly relevant because the lost wisdom that I'm going to share with you through this video today became known to me, was given to me just on Monday. Today is Thursday, October 19th, but on Monday, October 16th, after, almost a week after this portal of perception was activated, this wisdom came through. And oddly enough, this has never happened before. It came through in the middle of a solar return reading that I was doing for one of my clients. Now, if you don't understand what a solar return reading is, the solar return chart is your personal evolutionary pathway, ascension pathway for the year from your most current birthday to your next birthday. So every year you get a brand new solar return chart on your birthday because the sun, which solar is referring to, comes back to the same place in the sky where it was when you were born. That's why it's called a return. A solar return happens every year on your birthday. So this was a unique unfolding. As I said, I've done readings for I don't even know how many hundreds upon hundreds of people. Never have had anything like this come through during a personal reading for any of my clients like it did on Monday. So of course we were really excited to receive this information, and it was a fascinating experience because of the uniqueness of its unfolding. Now, what you need to know is that throughout this Galactic New Earth project, I have been referring to the goddess Epona. She's a Celtic heart goddess, a Celtic horse goddess. And I have been referring to the horse medicine cards done by Linda Koenoff, especially this Lionheart card, which you see here, painted by Kim McElroy, because as Epona has been moving through the energies of Leo, I was very much aware that this particular medicine card, of all of the medicine cards, very much represented as an archetype Epona's energies in those Leo frequencies, this lion heart wisdom that was coming through. And I've done a lot of videos over this past year related to the lion heart wisdom. And one of them that I did more recently actually dove a little deeper into what is this lion heart wisdom all about. Now, I have said repeatedly that it's about being able to be assertive without being aggressive. It's a way of bringing your frequencies into a state of balance where you're coming out of the predator prey consciousness into this lion heart wisdom. And of course, being able to be assertive without being aggressive is one of the first manifestations of that, because if you think about the words assertiveness and aggression, you will probably be aware that there is a frequency that has been overlaid on assertiveness to make it be less than okay, right? If you're assertive as a woman, you're a bitch. If you're assertive as a man, well, then, you're at, the head of the pack, so to speak. And so this whole thing, especially for women, in terms of how can we be assertive without being perceived negatively, was a construct that was intentionally designed and laid over the frequency of assertion by the patriarchy. And so the Lionheart wisdom is bringing us back into balance so that we can start to see examples of how to be assertive without being aggressive, modeled to us in our communities, even on the world stage, because that for a long time, especially for women, and I know for women that have been wounded by the patriarchy, they will perceive as well that being assertive is the same as being aggressive, and it's not. So let's look at some of the other aspects of this Lionheart wisdom, because this is very relevant to how we have been being calibrated over the last months of the previous Venus synodic cycle, which was the Capricorn sovereignty goddess. And so in this place of Lionheart wisdom, where you've come out of predator prey into this place of balance, what you will experience, what you will witness is that this consciousness protects without sacrificing sensitivity. It's demonstrated by the courage to feel and the willingness to act. It neither suppresses emotion, nor does the individual become paralyzed by emotion. And ultimately, it goes back to the Buddhist saying to know the yang, which is the masculine frequency, but keep to the yin, which is the feminine frequency. And so examples of that is honoring relationships over territory, honoring cooperation over competition, honoring emotion and intuition over reason, and also being, this is the yang part, focused and assertive. So it's not throwing the baby out with the water, it's shifting how it is that we're working with the balance between these frequencies. Okay, now let me go to the piece where I had to go back and transcribe what Epona was sharing at the time. Let me share with you the message that came through from Epona. And you're going to see here in these frames some quotes from what it was that she shared with us. And so she says, this is Epona, the Celtic horse goddess that was speaking to me. All of the horses on this planet have already embodied the awakened divine heart field. This is not something new. It is something new that you have discovered through this journey. And of course, she's talking to this galactic New Earth project and the journeys through the Capricorn goddess and now the Leo goddess, synodic cycles of Venus. The reason you have been able to discover it through this journey is because of your work with me. And if you go back and you look at my video journals related, monthly journals related to the DNA activations that have been happening each month through this process, you will see a lot of references to Epona and how she's been working with us. So she says again, the reason you have been able to discover this through the journey is because of your work with me specifically, and because of your work, meaning me, over the last 2 years with Millie. Now, Millie is the matriarch of a herd that I have sponsored that's at a ranch that's near me that I've been going to for the past 2 years. Epona says, Millie had already entrained your heart field to the awakened divine heart field, which is why you were able to recognize it. So let me pause there because I'm using this phrase, awakened divine heart field, and this might be a new phrase for you. What I discovered towards probably, I would say, somewhere between March and May, maybe closer to May, I discovered this quantum timeline that we had dropped into. And that through this quantum timeline, our what I call the 3D heart field, the compassionate heart field, was being calibrated and aligned to a higher frequency heart field. That higher frequency heart field, as again the journey progressed, became revealed to me as this awakened heart. And then from there, even as the awakened divine heart, which is a heart field that is at 5D plus. And it was specifically through the very end of this Capricorn goddess journey that these calibrations started to become more and more increased, more and more refined, so that when we experienced what's known as the activation of the metamorphic seed point, when the Capricorn goddess got transformed into this Leo divine royalty goddess, that's when that awakened divine heart field came online. lying within us. And there's a lot that I talk about in terms of Uranus's journey and Jupiter's journey through Taurus, that I share about how our physical bodies were being expanded to be able to embody the frequencies of this 5D plus, what then became known as the awakened divine heart field. So that's what she's referring to as she's making these references. And so she says to me, Millie had already entrained your heart field to the awakened divine heart field, which is why you were able to recognize it and start speaking to it. Now, the other thing that I've been using more and more through this journey, because it became clear to me in terms of Epona's integral part in this Galactic New Earth project, is this body of horse wisdom, this horse medicine. And so Epona says the horse medicine field, right? It's a field of consciousness, is a part of the awakened divine heart. The heart field of the horses is not a 3D heart field. This is so important to understand, because from my experience in terms of what I've read about horses and what I've heard from people who work with horses and are acknowledged as having some level of expertise in horses, they will acknowledge that the horse field is larger than the human horse field. They will acknowledge even that a horse from as little as 4 feet away has the ability through their heart field to feel your presence, that the horses have this ability to mirror to you what it is that you're really feeling. So you may have a smile on your face, but inside you may be sad or grieving. And so the horses will mirror those authentic feelings to you. They talk about that, they know that, they understand it, and yet they have confined that to this concept of the 3D heart field. Now, that's important to understand because of this next piece that Epona shares. And she says, those who do not understand that the heart field of the horses is not a 3D heart field, but is the awakened divine heart field of 5D plus, are minimalizing the role of horses on this planet. She goes on to say, why do you think that Chiron as a centaur, half man, half horse, is a shaman? And in astrology, we refer to Chiron, the luminary body in the sky, as the cosmic shaman. She says he is the bridge between the awakened divine heart and the human heart. Then she proceeds to say all of the myths around Pegasus are distorted. At some point, this wisdom about what the horses embody, and that Pegasus, with his wings, can take humanity to those higher frequencies, was known. This true wisdom was lost and has been revealed to you today. She goes on to say, isn't it a synchronicity that the 33rd strand of DNA, and remember that 33 is the number of Christ, The 33rd strand of DNA will be activated when Venus rises as morning star, as the Pisces unity consciousness goddess. Okay, this is an ancient image of the Pisces unity consciousness goddess. You will recognize her as the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin. And I particularly love this image because of the fact that her lotus is on the ocean. And one of the keywords, astrological keywords for Pisces, is the ocean. And for our self-realization as the wave that comes from the ocean and then goes back into the ocean. But look at this image. This is a more modern image of Kuan Yin. Isn't that something? Absolutely beautiful, and you'll understand its relevance in just a minute. So the Leo goddess rising as the Pisces unity consciousness goddess is going to happen at 29 degrees of Pisces. 29 degrees is the mastery point of any astrological sign. Pisces is your divine self in the as below. It is the creative source field in the as above, that which all things are created in. What she reminds us, which I, of course, was aware of, but she reminds us in this transmission, is that the ancient star sign that is going to be ruling this event when the Pisces unity consciousness goddess rises at 29 degrees of Pisces is Pegasus. This is incredible. And she goes on to say that the awakened divine heart, and I love this image because to me, with the phoenix here, the phoenix rising, it's a beautiful image for how I perceive the awakened divine heart. Epona says the awakened divine heart is really the Christ heart, or Christed heart. And I love this image because of the roses, this string of roses around this heart, which the Sophia Christ consciousness has been working with us through this entire galactic new earth project to bring us from our humanity, our human selves, into our divine selves, our Christed selves. It's a gorgeous image to represent the Christ heart. She says, I want you to know that the horses on this planet are emissaries of Christ. This is why they embody the awakened divine heart, the Christ heart. She goes on to say, this is why they have had a close relationship with humanity that has evolved over thousands of years. And then she showed me the Kalki Avatar. And I remembered that the Kalki Avatar is pictured as coming in on the white horse. And so in the Hindu faith, the Kalki Avatar is the final incarnation of Lord Vishnu, also known as Lord Mahavishnu. And the whole purpose of this final incarnation, which has not happened yet, is that the Kalki Avatar comes to Earth to restore truth and justice to humanity. And this incarnation, this mission, has been foretold in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also known as the Bhagavata Purana. It's about 1,000 years old, and specifically the Kalki Avatar is mentioned in the Canto 12, which is the 12th volume, known as the Age of Deterioration. And so what they say is that after all the imposter kings have been killed, so you imagine who may fall into that group, the residents of the cities and towns will feel the breezes carrying the most sacred fragrance of the sandalwood paste and other decorations of Lord Kalki, and their minds will thereby become transcendently pure. What does that mean, transcendently pure? Their minds will be these awakened minds where they will know themselves as the Christed beings that they are. And so the images of Lord Kalki coming in on the horse has embedded within this image the frequency of the horses being the emissaries of Christ. And of course, even with this image, it has been, that wisdom has been completely forgotten. So this is a huge piece of wisdom that is now restored to us by Epona. And I am aware that as we continue to move through this Leo divine royalty goddess, doing these DNA activations, which are now activations that are activating our multidimensional selves, our galactic selves, leading us to our divine selves when we activate that 33rd strand of DNA, when we will have become the New Jerusalem. I've got video journals on that topic that you can look at. More and more of this lost wisdom is going to be revealed through this galactic New Earth project, just as Epona has done so this month at the Portal of Perception. Now, my question to you is, what is it that inspires you? Are you inspired by your own personal ascension path, the awakening of humanity? How about alchemy or these lost ancient star signs like Pegasus? What about DNA activations? This was a huge piece of wisdom that Sophia gave to me that was acknowledged and validated by the goddess Sekhmet, the goddess of divine compassion and mercy, that there are not 12 strands of DNA, there are 33 strands of DNA. And Sophia asked us specifically through this Leo goddess journey to continue to activate those 13th through 32nd strands of DNA. And as you were just told, as Epona reminded us, that 33rd strand, that Christed strand, will become activated when Venus rises as the Pisces unity consciousness goddess. What about lost wisdom, like what I've just shared with you, not only through this piece about 12 strands really being 33 strands, but about the horses having this Christ heart, not a 3D heart field like humans, but a Christ heart and our emissaries of Christ. Are you inspired by the Sophia Christ consciousness? Do you even know who Sophia is as the beloved of Christ? Are you inspired by this idea that you are a divine being having a human experience? And how can you be more in touch with your divine self? And are you inspired by unity consciousness, And so if any of these things are of interest to you, let me assure you that we are delving into all of these things through the Galactic New Earth Project. And I would invite you to come and join us in this project. It's intended to be a global project because humanity is being evolved in a way that humanity is being prepared in a way to be able to step into a galactic community. And all of the work that we're doing in this Galactic New Earth Project is related to that awakening of humanity. And so the way that you can join us in this Galactic New Earth Project is by becoming a patron. And this is the link here, patreon.com/the Rose Will Mystery School. And I have 3 tiers available. If you are serious about becoming involved in the Galactic New Earth journey, New Earth Project, then I encourage you to join at this tier, the Galactic New Earth Project tier, because all of the video journals related to this Galactic New Earth Project in terms of the replays are exclusive content to this tier. Those people that are patrons at the first tier do not get to see the replays of this project. They get to see all of the other amazing video journals that I put out there on different cosmic events. And of course, as a tier 2 member, you get to see all of that as well. In fact, you may very likely want to go back and look at all of the video journals that I did about when I discovered that quantum timeline that we had dropped into that was aligning us to, calibrating us to this awakened this awakened heart, this awakened divine heart, this Christ heart. And so I encourage you to join me on Patreon so that you can become involved in the Galactic New Earth Project, as I said, through those replays. And if you're desiring an even deeper involvement with that project, then I would invite you to email me so that I can explain to you how you can become a tier 3 member, where you are actually participating not only in the teaching part, which is the replay, but the private part afterwards, where we do all of the alchemical experiential stuff and all of the ceremonial pieces around the DNA activation and all of the quantum healing work that is done by our co-facilitator, Nicole Corna. So thank you for watching this video. As I said, I was just chomping at the bit, pardon the pun, to get this new wisdom from Epona out to you, but it's absolutely thrilling. And it has certainly provided me a paradigm shift in terms of the work that we are doing right now in the Galactic New Earth Project. So thank you again. And thank you very, very much to all of my patrons. You are greatly appreciated. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you support this phenomenal leading edge work for humanity. And I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.